Hello, good morning, trade pros, and welcome to our morning market update for Thursday, May 14th of 2020. I can't believe it's Thursday already. I think time's flying. I think this year is kind of flying. All right, we got a great morning market update for you today. You guys see I turned the camera around for today, and you probably see this here. This is probably the most valuable asset I own. Watches, cars, houses. This right here has become the most valuable asset, but it's getting empty. All right, so let's talk a little bit this morning about a few things. Let's kick it off with obviously the most important. Unemployment claims came out this morning. Every Thursday at 8:30 in the morning they come out. We traded it in a room in our Discord channel with the team, and we set up a potential opportunity. All right, there was a small opportunity for the short. We'll talk about why. Before we get into unemployment claims, let's talk about the morning market fun fact. On this day in 1997, all right, May the 14th, a small company at the time by the name of Amazon went public on NASDAQ, all right, listing 3 million shares at their initial public offering for just $18 per share. All right, that's absolutely phenomenal to see where they've come and where they're at right now. They're pretty much dominating the globe, most specifically the US with their supply chain reach. So it's very interesting to see that. All right. In other news, unemployment claims come out today and already came out. I'm looking at the numbers. They came out at 2.98 million versus 2.5 expected. So even though the 2.98 is lower than the 3.169, okay, of past week, the problem is that it was higher than the 2.5 expected, and it's reversing or kind of slowing down a trend going into this where we had steadily declining unemployment claims over the last 8 weeks. All right. And this week ruins it. If you want to see what it looks like, it's going to be pretty odd, but there's a chart. That's the week over week unemployment claim numbers. All right. I realize I'm showing you a picture of a phone on a camera, which is not the way we do it in 2020, but we're going to have to do with it. All right. So 36.196 million total jobs lost in 8 weeks. And this week we exceeded analyst expectations more than prior weeks. And we've sort of tapered off the downward trend. That's why the market didn't like it. But there's more. If you looked at the market sell off and you're like, hey, bad news is bad news again, there was more to it than this. Donald Trump was on Fox News at 8:36 in the morning and said the following. He was asked about the China relationship, and he said they could do anything. And when he was asked to probe further on that, he said we could cut off the whole relationship with China. All right. Says the U.S. could save $500 billion by just cutting off the relationship in total. Right. And, you know, it's a little scary to think of that because it's not as simple as just cutting off China. There's a whole supply chain that's delivered by China. All right. You as consumers in North America, I'm Canadian, we're based out of Canada, but you know, at the end of the day, we're consuming products for cheap, all right, and giving us higher purchase power because China makes them for cheap. And you know, the whole global relationship has been everyone's exported jobs to China and imported cheap goods, right? And that's just the bottom line. So that's kind of what tipped the scale, and the market sold off through fresh lows here on the overnight session. All right, we were trading around these 81 halves. You could see. I don't know if you see it that great. Then we broke through, and our trade was just a short down through it. That's it. And then now we're getting a little bit more sideways action until the market opens. Okay. Yesterday, Powell had a press conference that we did the morning market update 8:45 for a little bit early so we could trade this, and we had great opportunity. I caught a nice short. Some people in the room caught a nice short, and we got the easy trade. That was the easy trade of the morning, and then things got a little bit more tough later on in the morning. All right, but man, there was a lot of volatility, and it was great. Powell said the path ahead is both highly uncertain and subject to significant downside risks. All right, that's what Powell said. That's what scared the market. In addition to that, he also called for additional fiscal stimulus by the White House and Donald Trump's administration. Basically said, look, don't squander our stimulus efforts, our monetary policy efforts. We need some more fiscal policy as well to defend our offense. And he said that negative rates are not something that we are currently looking at. He didn't say currently. Negative rates are not something we are looking at, are exactly his words. And, you know, a lot of people were expecting negative interest rates. They were saying, hey, if you cut so much and you get down to zero, do we have to stop there? We got negative rates in oil. Why can't we get negative rates on interest rates? And, you know, there's a great wealth of problems that are led to by negative interest rates. We can't get into that, but maybe we could do a YouTube video on it at a later time. All right, he said they'd rather do an extension of their current programs and print more money and continuously do so. And so, that kind of disappointed the market a little bit. It also disappointed Donald Trump because he said he likes negative interest rates. All right, and he feels strongly that the U.S. should have negative interest rates. And then, while he said that he still has differences with Jerome Powell on negative rates, he thinks that he's performing much better than before. All right, as you guys remember, Donald Trump and Jerome Powell had a little bit of beef going on, but when you think about it, Powell was trying to maintain a separate entity from the government, and he's kind of just collapsed into saying, "I'll just do whatever Trump wants." Nobody will tell you this, but this is how traders are reading into it. All right. Meanwhile, this is, by the way, before we move forward, that's why Jerome Powell's press conferences are uneventful these days, because there isn't any new information. We know that he's just going to follow the lead, and he's going to, he's kind of crumbled under the pressure and following what mostly Trump wants. And so when you get that, the Fed sort of loses a little bit of credibility, which, in my opinion, has happened already. It doesn't need any more reasons to lose credibility. But hey, here we are. All right. I'm just scrolling through the notes. I turned the phone and then lost it all. Okay. In addition to that, Donald Trump yesterday said that he was critical of China, and he's reportedly looking into Chinese companies listed on the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ. All right. He said he's very disappointed in China, and then this morning follows up with saying we can cut off the relationship entirely. All right. He also said, though, this is interesting. He also said he likes NIRP, negative interest rate policy. And he said it's a great time to have a strong U.S. dollar. But negative interest rate policy won't lead to a strong U.S. dollar. It would lead to a negative dollar. Who would want to pay money to hold a currency? The idea behind negative rates in a nutshell is to encourage consumers to spend money, to circulate it into the economy rather than save it, right? I think that's not going to happen. I think there's different ways to save if you really want to. All right. That's kind of the big news. This is putting risk off sentiment, meaning that people don't want to take risk. If you picture switch, risk on means buy equities, risk off means sell equities. We've been selling, in the Market Analysis Live report this Sunday, we said, look, I think downside's coming out this week. It's time for it. Here we are, right? So advantage, sell rallies. I think in this morning's session, we maybe get a little bit of rebound to the 95s to 2,800 evens. And from there, we could try another leg or a fresh leg to new lows, potentially, if we break the current ones. All right, so we're looking to sell rallies today. It ain't a secret. I just think it's a little overdone overnight. We might have to wait for a little bit of a pop off the opening bell. Okay, Japan, we're down 1.7. Hong Kong, we're down 1.5. China down 1%. India down 2.7. In Europe at midday, London's down 2.3. Paris is down 2%. Frankfurt down 1.7. All right, and in the U.S., futures were flat. Now they've all slipped into negative territory. Okay, crude oil is up 4% to $26. Surprise draw in the inventory yesterday, crude oil. Most of our team caught the oil trade yesterday. It was a fantastic one, 70 cents in the mere minutes, $700 a contract on oil. It's a significant amount, and it's the first draw in a long time, showing that the oil is in a little bit more of a balanced market scenario. All right. It was a great trade opportunity and a great thing for oil, and it rallied quite a bit off that news report. All right, but you had to take profits. I unfortunately didn't get the trade. I missed it by a mere one tick, and it happens. There's a saying, don't be a DICK for a TICK. Happened to me. All right, 8:30 initial jobless claims. Already talked about that. 10:30, we got natural gas inventory on the docket today. 1 p.m., Fed's Kashkari speaking. That's going to be important. Fed's Kashkari has been very vocal about negative rates. He's going to be speaking on our economy and health in crisis at 1 p.m. Eastern. And then at 4:30, we're going to see the money supply on the Fed balance sheet. We're going to see how much more it's grown. It was at 6.66 trillion last time. Coincidental number last week. All right. And Fed's Kaplan speaking at 6 p.m. So not as many news items on the docket, but pay attention, listen. You got to have an audio feed. This is on my monitor right here. I show it to you real quick. This is where the news breaks for me. A lot of the time, you could see here, Donald Trump asked China about relationship, blah, blah, blah. That broke at 8:36, right? And if you look at what the market did, it dumped right around that time. So pretty big and a hefty dump right there. All right. Oh, wait. Never mind. I can't move this camera properly. So anywho, that's that. You got to have news, and you got to listen to news, because I got a feeling today something's going to happen on the news squawk that's going to spur some volatility. It's not that I know anything ahead of time. I just get this feeling somebody's going to drop a bombshell today. Okay, it's been a while. Markets have been quiet, and markets are going down at the moment. So we'll see. Be careful. Manage your risk. Have a stop. Always protect yourself. And I think today we're going to get some more volatility. And if we break the lows, a continuation to the downside. First, we pop in the morning. So don't just short it right into the opening bell. Be careful. Manage your risk. Trade Pro. And we'll see you tomorrow. You guys have a great day. Tomorrow's the last day of the week. And love you all. Be safe. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Ciao. Goodbye. Trade Pros in the room. Let's get started. Oh, look at this. I was looking for a mirror on the weekend to cut my own hair, and I don't need one. I'm going to use the camera next time. Foxy, I'm going to send it over to you, and let's get rolling. Let's do an oil update, set up some levels, and we'll take it back for equities and set up some trades.